Okay, so it's been a while since we've made a video, so I have lots to tell you. It's been several months. The first cool thing that happened to us way back in July 2nd, we signed on our boat. We took possession and we got to spend our first night in our boat the night of July 2nd, which was a lot of fun. We had to go through a lot of our boat and figure out the person who left or sold our boat to us when he left all kinds of things in the boat. He just moved out with his clothes and some of his possessions. So we had to go through lots of the hatches, go through the kitchen, all the storage areas and figure out what was there and if we needed it, if we needed to replace it. It was really fun moving into our boat and figuring out where all our stuff would fit. Then Travis started checking all the systems. One of the first things that happened is we figured out we needed to work on our electrical system because I turned on the microwave at the same time we had two air conditioners running, and of course it blew the inverter and that had to be replaced. That was my first big mistake. But then Travis worked on fixing that electrical system. He and a friend really went through the whole thing, and we had to replace our inverter. We bought some new amazing Battle-Born batteries. We had a friend from Fort Lauderdale put us together a new water maker. And we even got to buy some fun stuff for the boat. We bought snorkel gear, we bought two really cool paddle boards, some new life jackets. We spent a lot of time shopping and it was a lot of fun, a lot of new stuff. Then we were working on getting an arch put on the back of our boat because we wanted something to put our solar panels at the top of the back of the boat, and because we knew we needed more electricity. And we found in the marina where we were staying, we found an amazing arch that we loved, and we found out who the welder was that made that. Travis met him, talked to him, and he said, sure, I can make an arch for you. And so the plan was to get the boat out of the water and get the arch put on. That was going to be about a 5-day project. And living on the hard, it's called, when you put your boat on the land, is not so fun. You have a big huge ladder you have to climb up, and all the systems can't be connected. And so Travis's suggestion, which I loved, was he could go and stay on the boat while they were working on the arch, and that I would go to Texas for maybe a couple of weeks and visit the grandkids. So that was the plan. I was going to go to Texas, stay with the grandkids a few weeks, and Travis was going to stay with the boat and get the final preparations done fixed on the boat so that we could get out on the water. Okay, so about mid-July, I decided to go to Texas. I flew to Texas and got here on a Saturday and went to Brownwood just in case. I wanted to stay away from Harper until I had a COVID test. So on Monday morning, got up, got my COVID test done. And I was staying with Sarah and Jordan and Jet. And then on Wednesday afternoon, I started not feeling so good. So I quarantined myself to their back bedroom, and sure enough, Wednesday evening, I got a phone call that I had tested positive for COVID. I hadn't had any symptoms until that Wednesday, so I'm assuming on the way home at some point, I was infected with coronavirus. So I spent the next 14 days quarantined in the back bedroom of the kids' house, and that was pretty miserable. I was very, very sick for most of that time. Then once I got out of quarantine, I decided to go and visit Harper once I had the all clear, and I ended up staying 3 more weeks in Texas. My 2-week trip to Texas ended up turning into 5 weeks in Texas, but I had lots of fun with the grandkids. In the meantime, Travis, our 5-day job of getting our arch built, turned into a much longer deal because our welder, who was supposed to be welding on our arch, on the side, he has a side gig, and he is a treasure hunter. So he actually, lo and behold, started finding some treasure and found some gold coins, silver coins, some old porcelain, found all kinds of really cool things, which kept him wanting to do treasure hunting and not working on our boat. So our 5-day job turned into much, much longer. So Travis just told me to keep putting it off, that I really didn't want to be at the boat when it was on the hard, and so I stayed in Texas as long as I could. I ended up going back to Florida on August 22nd, and when I got there, I met up with some friends of ours from Wisconsin, and I got to stay with them, spend the night with them in Fort Lauderdale. Travis was actually on another sailboat at the time, helping a friend move his boat down to the Florida Keys. I mean, when he has a chance to be on a sailboat, he'd much rather be there than be on the hard on our boat. So then, after I spent some time with our friends in Fort Lauderdale, I drove down to the Florida Keys and picked up Travis, and we drove all the way from the Keys back up to Fort Pierce, and we spent another week or so working on the boat, cleaning things up, getting things ready. We did a bottom job on the boat. We finished all that up. Once our arch and our swim platform and our ladder was all finished, it was absolutely beautiful. Travis had put our name on the back of the boat while I was gone, and so our boat looked amazing. Some friends of ours wanted to travel with us from the working marina to the marina where we have been keeping our boat in the water, and so I drove to the marina to pick them up and was headed back to the working marina to get on our boat, and I got a phone call from Travis. I was talking to him, and he said, "I have to go. They just dropped our boat." So I very quickly headed back to the boat, worried about what kind of disaster I might find when I got there. And sure enough, our boat, they put it, when they lift up your boat, they put straps at the back and at the front, and they had lifted our boat. When they released the brake, the boat moved forward and the strap slipped off the back. So our boat had actually dropped about 1 foot, maybe a little less than a foot, onto the ground, and our boat weighs 60,000 pounds, so it was a huge drop when it dropped. It didn't look too bad from the outside. There was some damage to the keel that we had just painted, but it didn't look terrible from there, but we knew that there could possibly be some damage, that there would more than likely be. So we had to search for a surveyor. Our surveyor came, she came within the week she was the person who surveyed our boat before, so we brought her back because she had pictures of what it looked like, 2 months before. So she looked at new made some new pictures, looked through the boat. She saw some damage. She suggested that we get a structural engineer to come and look at the boat. So it took another few days for us to find that person and have him scheduled to come and look at the boat. It was quite a process getting someone just to assess what had happened because of the drop on the ground. So we waited. He eventually came, did a lot of pictures. Travis has now seen every inch of our boat on the inside and the out. So he got some really great pictures, and there was some damage. There's a bulkhead right in the middle of the boat and that goes crossways, and it had some cracks and some damage. So the marina, of course, said that they would pay for all of that to be fixed. They fixed all of that. There was some fiberglass problems on the inside. Some of the tabs had come loose, so they had their fiberglass guy redo all of that. Not sure what time, we're in September now, and so somewhere in September they got all of that fixed. All the inside part of the boat was fixed. So Travis and I decided to just come to Texas. While we've been here, we had some appointments with Harper, and Harper had an amazing procedure done on her heart that turned out really well. We're here for a couple of weddings that we get to go to, and we're super excited about that. We've had a lot of fun in Texas, and while we're here, they are finishing the outside of our boat, working on the keel, the part that was damaged in the drop. So we are in Texas at this point, just waiting for, we've had a new great nephew born. We've had a great niece born while we were here. We've had all kinds of fun things happen while we've been in Texas. We've got to enjoy visiting with family and with friends, and we've had a great time. We still have one more wedding to go to on Friday, and then we are headed back to Texas next weekend, this coming up weekend. We're headed back to Florida, and hopefully our plan is to be in Florida next week, and they will put our boat in the water. We'll check all the systems, and then Travis and I are ready to be out on the ocean. So hopefully our next video will be on a boat that is actually floating in the water. That's our plan.